Red is a very dynamic and passionate color. Much like purple, it's a color that demands attention. It's a color of power, but it's in a different font than purple. Purple is like, look, I'm in charge, I'm posh, I'm dripped out. You're broke, and you should worship me. Red, meanwhile, is more like, I will off everyone here that show up to their funerals still covered in their blood. It wants you to associate it with bloodshed and vitality. And when you realize that, it makes sense that it's the color of gangs like the Carnales, the Brotherhood, and the Morningstar. And yet, they all manage to make their reds speak a little bit differently.
Always eat the one you love.
Spell red.
Red? L-S-T-E-R.
Red for the Carnales specifically focuses on things like passion, aggression, confidence, and strength. But the two more important aspects is red for bloodshed and red as a stimulant. I mean stimulant because of how the formation of the Carnales shifted Stillwater by becoming the city's first major street gang. And it also pretty much birthed the entire Saints Row series, because without them, the Vice Kings wouldn't have been born, and if the Vice Kings weren't born, then the Saints wouldn't have been either. So the stimulant from the Carnales is essentially waking up this more gang-powered violent side of Stillwater. This is not to say that they caused the violence, obviously. I don't believe that violence was just not a thing in Stillwater before the Carnales, but if the Saints Row version of the US is like ours, then the Latin and Black communities of Stillwater were definitely blamed for it. Regardless, this violence would entangle Stillwater in this cycle for years to come. The bloodshed aspect is pretty self-explanatory. Interestingly enough, their use of red is more akin to matadors who use the color red to cover up any blood, which, considering their outfits, makes 6 sense. I also love the details of the Lopez brothers and Victor wearing what I think are zoot suits because of the cultural history of zoot suits. There's a drag artist I follow named Taipei Queen who did a video on the history of shoulder pads, and in it, they touch on the significance of zoot suits in communities of color, which eventually led to the zoot suit riots, where many Black and Latino young men, whether they were wearing a suit or not, were attacked by racist white servicemen. Because it was mainly people of color wearing it, the suit was branded as a signifier for delinquency. Much like the concept of the Saints, I can see the Carnales also being formed as a sort of service to the disenfranchised communities they come from, and it quickly spirals into taking advantage of said communities. For the Carnales, red is a symbol of power, violence, and blood. Not particularly just the blood of their enemies, but mainly the blood of their family bonds, as the Carnales are a family business. They're very Targaryen coded if we think about it. Just without the incest. Unless Luz and Angelo are secret cousins or some shit.
This is so fire. All I see is red.
The Brotherhood's red is similar to the Carnales, but different. Almost like a reversed version of them. The red does symbolize the blood of others. Their bond as a family is that of a found family rather than some criminal monarchy. Unlike the Carnales, who take after a matador in hiding their blood on their clothes, the Brotherhood would probably be down for using other people's blood to color their tattoos, if that was a thing. Or hygienic. Their red heavily centers on the dominance and aggression aspect of the color. That was true of the Carnales, but theirs was more of a refined dominance, if that makes sense. The Brotherhood fully embraced their aesthetic as a violent tribe, even down to their major hobby being monster truck rallies, which are these loud showcases of destruction. And that's just it, isn't it? Everything about the Brotherhood is purely based on presentation. All of the gangs in the series are putting on a show, we know that. But the Brotherhood are the ones that really want you to look at them. From their cars, to their music, to their actions, to their hobbies, to their appearances, everything about them is loud. They want you to notice them so that you can be scared of them as a sort of way to confirm that they're outsiders. This is not to say that they're posers, but they are attention seekers, and they kind of have to be, you know? Stillwater is literally a city of freaks, and I highly doubt that the Brotherhood actually stands out as different aside from the massive displays of violence. And even then, they still have some competition. In a city where everyone's already kind of quirky, including the gangs in the second game, you really have to make a name for yourself however you can in order to make a mark for yourself in the city's history. It's like trying to be seen as the ultimate outcast at a body mod convention. The only other gang in the series that has this level of grand violence that demands attention are the Idols. And I know someone's probably screaming about a different gang, and trust, I'm not ignoring them, but I have noticed these specific goals in terms of their presentation, and they're very different. But I'll get to them later.
Do be the baddest bitch, make these hoes mad. Don't be no mad ass hating ass hoe.
Finally, there is the Morning Star. And it may not seem like it to some, but their red also very much symbolizes violence. But it symbolizes sexual violence through the gang's main venture being prostitution. Even the saint that's connected to them, Zemos, is a pimp. The sexual violence featured in the third game could be seen as being downplayed by some because of how Steelport is so horny and kinky in general, but it is there. There is something to be said about how easy it can be for someone to become a victim in a place like Steelport, and how easy it would be for human traffickers here to sweep it under the rug. Zemos is a prisoner in the De Winter's sex club, not someone who is there willingly. There are also other prisoners there that you can free, and they even clearly allow people to be sold with no concerns if they consented to it or not. Even the barge mission features you saving a group of kidnapped sex workers in order for Zemos to be the one pimping them out. It's always there, and much like the Carnales, the red acts as a cover, with the Morning Star using red's association with sexuality and desire. But red symbolizes that they are just as dangerous as the other two gangs, and specifically capable of performing an act of violence that is often downplayed by many, but can be extremely detrimental to anyone. All the more reason I think they should have really played into the BDSM vampire aesthetic, because the Morning Star really are leeches in that regard. And that covers all of the red gangs. I initially was gonna make one short video for every gang, but I changed my mind because I felt like they'd be too quick. There are a lot of gangs that have unique colors to them, so I'm still trying to figure out if they should get a single short video or if I should give a video to 2 gangs each or something. But until then, I've been Miss Hexley, and I'll see you soon.